Hey everybody, today we are talking about Violets by Kyung Suk Shin. You gonna sit down? Alright. Violets is a story about a young woman named Osan who has recently taken a job working at a flower shop. This story has themes of sadness, loneliness, growth of dealing with past traumas. It really is a lot about our main character Osan and how she is trying to deal with things that happened in her past. And as I was reading it, I feel like she kind of buried them deep down, but then an experience that she has with a customer that comes into the shop, or rather a photographer that comes into the shop to take photos of some violets for a cover of like a magazine. She experiences this opening up of her past, her childhood, and how she grew up, and I think that the photographer kind of reopens this wound, and along with getting a letter from her mother also kind of reopens this wound of thinking about what her childhood was like. And the story kind of goes along with her trying to figure out how to cope with that. So the book starts out with her as an 8-year-old and being really close to this friend of hers, and they would always like walk home from school together. They would go spend time just lying down next to the Minari fields. And one day as they are doing that, they have an experience that they get pretty close, and Osan decides to kiss this other girl. And when she does that, the other girl does not reciprocate and essentially shuns her. And anytime that Osan tries to go to her house or to see her, this other girl just flees and runs away and doesn't give it time of day, tells her to leave her alone, go away, and just is shocked by what happened. And Osan just doesn't really understand this reaction from her, but she was never able to like mend things with her. She ended up growing up and eventually leaving this village and then not seeing her friend after that, after she left. And so she has this feeling of kind of like she needs, to me, I feel like she needed closure with this relationship. Like she needed to go back and talk with her, to her friend, and try to mend this feeling of years and years of this experience. Once she gets like triggered from the experience with this photographer, she feels the need to have to like all those memories fled back from her childhood. That, along with the fact that her dad left basically when she was a baby, and so she was growing up with just her mom, but her mom was constantly feeling like she needed connection with someone other than her daughter, and so she eventually leaves to try to find another man to be with. And so San is growing up without a mother and a father for quite a while. Her mom just kind of pops in sometimes to check in on her every once in a while, and then the time and the space in between her coming and checking on her grows more and more, and she just gets letters sometimes from her mom to just kind of update her on what's going on, and then sometimes sees her in person. And so growing up basically alone has really caused her to not really be able to express certain emotions, and that impacts her later when she grows up and she finds this job at the flower shop. And then getting a new letter from her mom saying that she wants San to come and see her, and just having that. And then this photographer eventually gives her a compliment, and when she receives this compliment, that on top of the letter, it just brings back all of these floods of just like past memories of being with the girl, memories of being alone without her mom, all these things. And then suddenly having somebody give her attention and give her this compliment, she doesn't really know what to do with it, and so it kind of takes over everything. She was once so attentive to these flowers and just pouring all of her emotions onto the flowers themselves, and having that be what she's attached to kind of, to me, I feel like that's what I was kind of getting out of that, was she was taking these flowers and making them fill that emptiness in her so that she had a purpose, so that she wasn't lonely and everything. And then being able to connect to Suai, who is working with her with the shop, and being able to connect with her. There's another person that she's able to have in her life, and so starting to be less lonely. But as soon as this man compliments her, she cannot think about anything else except for this man, and it starts to derail her attentiveness to the flowers. It starts to kind of shift where she's only thinking about this. She starts to leave the shop for hours at a time to just wander and to try to get closer to that man, but she's too scared to actually go up and like call him or talk to him, because she just doesn't know what to do with these feelings, because she hasn't used them in so long and practiced them on like actual people. And you can just tell that she's very troubled and awkward and shy, and just socially doesn't have those skills, because she didn't have someone to really help her with that growing up. And we see that now as an adult, where she just kind of seems a bit troubled. And when she starts to act differently, Suai tries to ask her like what's going on, and she just won't say what's going on. She won't confide in anybody. She just says, oh, that she has a headache and that she needs to go wander and that she needs to feel better from fresh air. And people are starting to be concerned about her, like Suai is being concerned about her, but she doesn't know what to do because San's not opening up to her. And so we just kind of see how over time San lets these emotions of hers kind of just take over everything, and she doesn't know how to express them in a healthy way. She just has to find a way that's more healthy to confront these things that she's feeling that has started coming back up, these emotions that she started to remember from her childhood because of this man that has come into her life but is also not that much in her life. Like, yeah, I just didn't expect much of that when I was reading it, for that to be the direction that this was going. You know, I was really rooting for her to have a connection with Suai and like get together with her maybe, and not have to worry about this photographer, this man, and to be able to find happiness in the flower shop with the flowers and with this new companion that she's living with and working with. And it doesn't go in that direction. And so maybe it's more realistic that it doesn't. I don't know. I usually don't rate books, but since I rated the first one, which is, well, I don't know if it was actually the first one, but it's the first one that I've read from this author, which was Please Look After Mom. And I'm sure you know that I really loved that book and gave it a 5 because I have 2 videos about it on my channel. And Violets did not affect me in the same way that that book did, and so it does not get as high of a rating for me, but I still enjoyed it enough to where I would say it's probably a 4, maybe a 3.5, but it's still a book that's worth reading, and that I'm glad that I read it, because I do really like the whole like idea of working at a flower shop and seeing the dedication that San puts into having these flowers and taking care of them, and that you can tell that if she's given a chance, she really could be a deeply loving, caring person to someone, and it's just she needs to figure out how to do that properly. Then I think that she would be able to find happiness that she seeks, but just doesn't know how to accurately obtain it. And yeah, so anyway, those are my thoughts on Violets by Kyung-Suk Shin. If you would like to read it, please do, and let me know what your thoughts are about it if you've read it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.